5 events that changed human history forever. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that half the people in your town are gone, or watching the sky suddenly turn black in the middle of the day. What if an entire civilization collapsed after ruling the world for centuries? Throughout history, a handful of events have changed the course of humanity forever. Number 5. The Black Death. In the middle of the 14th century, Europe was thriving with growing cities, busy trade routes, and increasing populations. But everything changed in 1347, when merchant ships arrived carrying an invisible killer. The disease became known as the Black Death. Today, historians believe the Black Death was primarily caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis. It likely spread through fleas that lived on rats traveling aboard trading ships. Once the disease reached cities, it spread rapidly from person to person. Victims often developed painful, swollen lumps called buboes, followed by fever, chills, and weakness. In many cases, death came within just a few days. Doctors had no understanding of bacteria or proper medicine, so they were powerless to stop it. Over the next several years, the plague spread across Europe, parts of Asia, and North Africa. Historians estimate that between 75 and 200 million people died worldwide, although the exact number is still debated because historical records are incomplete. Entire villages disappeared, farms were abandoned, trade slowed dramatically, fear spread almost as quickly as the disease itself. Yet the Black Death also transformed society in unexpected ways. Because so many workers had died, surviving laborers became much more valuable. Many demanded higher wages and better working conditions. The old feudal system began to weaken, changing Europe's economy and society for generations. The Black Death wasn't just one of history's deadliest pandemics. It completely reshaped medieval civilization. But centuries later, humanity would face another deadly outbreak, the 1918 influenza pandemic. In 1918, the First World War was nearing its end. Millions of soldiers were moving between continents, and crowded military camps created the perfect conditions for disease to spread. Then a new strain of influenza emerged. Unlike many seasonal flu viruses, this one proved unusually deadly. It spread with incredible speed across nearly every inhabited continent. Soldiers unknowingly carried the virus home, allowing it to infect entire communities. One of the strangest features of the pandemic was that many healthy young adults became severely ill. Scientists believe that in some cases, an overreaction of the immune system may have contributed to the severity of the disease. Hospitals quickly became overwhelmed. Schools, churches, and theaters closed in many cities. People wore masks, avoided gatherings, and quarantined the sick. These public health measures sound familiar because similar strategies were used more than a century later during the COVID-19 pandemic. By the time the outbreak finally ended in 1920, an estimated 50 million people had died worldwide, though some studies suggest the total may have been even higher. The pandemic demonstrated how quickly infectious diseases can spread in an interconnected world. It also changed public health systems, encouraging governments to invest more heavily in disease surveillance, medical research, and emergency planning. Sometimes, however, history changes not because of disease, but because nature itself decides to rewrite the rules. Number 3. Mount Tambora and the Year Without a Summer. In April 1815, the Indonesian volcano Mount Tambora erupted with unimaginable force. It remains one of the most powerful volcanic eruptions ever recorded in human history. The explosion blasted enormous amounts of ash, dust, and sulfur gases high into Earth's atmosphere. These tiny particles reflected sunlight back into space, causing global temperatures to fall. The following year, 1816, became known as the Year Without a Summer. Across Europe and North America, unusual weather shocked entire populations. Snow fell during June in some regions. Crops failed because temperatures remained unusually cold. Farmers watched their harvests disappear. Food shortages soon followed. Grain prices rose dramatically and many families faced starvation. In several areas, famine and disease claimed thousands of additional lives. The strange weather also influenced culture. During one rainy summer in Switzerland, author Mary Shelley spent long days indoors. That experience eventually inspired her to write the famous novel Frankenstein. Scientists today study the Tambora eruption as one of history's clearest examples of how volcanic eruptions can influence Earth's climate on a global scale. Nature had shown that a single volcano could affect millions of lives around the world, but another natural disaster would preserve an entire city almost perfectly in time. Number 2. The destruction of Pompeii. In the year 79 AD, the Roman city of Pompeii sat peacefully near Mount Vesuvius in southern Italy. Its people lived ordinary lives. They shopped in markets, relaxed in bathhouses, and decorated beautiful homes. Many residents had no idea that the mountain towering above them was an active volcano. Then everything changed. Mount Vesuvius erupted violently, sending enormous clouds of ash and volcanic rock high into the sky. At first, ash began falling across the city. Many people fled, but others remained behind. Later came the most deadly stage of the eruption. Extremely hot clouds of gas, ash, and volcanic debris, called pyroclastic flows, raced down the mountainside at tremendous speed. These flows buried Pompeii beneath several meters of volcanic material. Thousands of people died. For centuries, the buried city remained hidden underground until archaeologists rediscovered it in the 18th century. Pompeii became one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in history. Homes, streets, paintings, tools, and even food were preserved beneath the ash. Plaster casts created from cavities left by victims revealed heartbreaking snapshots of people's final moments. Thanks to Pompeii, historians gained an extraordinary window into everyday Roman life that few other ancient cities could provide. Sometimes disasters destroy history. Pompeii accidentally preserved it. Finally, we reach an event that changed politics, warfare, and civilization across an entire continent. Number 1. The fall of the Western Roman Empire. For centuries, Rome dominated much of Europe, North Africa, and parts of the Middle East. Its roads connected distant lands. Its armies protected vast territories. Roman law, engineering, and culture influenced millions of people, yet even the greatest empires can fall. The decline of the Western Roman Empire happened gradually over hundreds of years. Historians point to many different causes rather than a single event. Political instability weakened leadership. Civil wars drained resources. Economic problems reduced government income. Heavy taxes burdened citizens. At the same time, repeated invasions by various Germanic groups placed increasing pressure on Rome's borders. In 476 AD, the Germanic leader Odoacer removed the young emperor Romulus Augustulus from power. Many historians traditionally consider this moment the symbolic end of the Western Roman Empire. However, the Eastern Roman Empire, often called the Byzantine Empire today, continued for nearly another 1,000 years. Even after the Western Empire collapsed, Rome's influence never truly disappeared. Roman law shaped modern legal systems. Roman engineering inspired future builders. The Latin language evolved into Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian. Many modern governments, cities, and institutions still reflect ideas first developed in ancient Rome. The empire fell, but its legacy survived. Looking back at these 5 events, one thing becomes clear. Human history is not shaped only by kings, generals, or inventors. Disease, climate, volcanic eruptions, and the slow rise and fall of civilizations have all changed the direction of our world. The Black Death transformed medieval society. The 1918 influenza pandemic reshaped global public health. Mount Tambora changed Earth's climate and caused worldwide hardship. Pompeii preserved a lost chapter of Roman life beneath volcanic ash, and the fall of the Western Roman Empire marked the end of one era while laying the foundations for another. History is filled with moments that seemed impossible to imagine until they happened. Understanding these events helps us better understand the world we live in today and reminds us that our own actions may shape the future just as profoundly. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We explore fascinating stories from science, history, and the mysteries of our world every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.